With thanks to my Patreons, Carol Smaczynski, Foulmouth, and Uncle Chop Chop. Thank you for supporting the channel. Get your name here for the price of a cup of coffee.
Over the weekend, I received a package from KemaFun. KemaFun is a company that primarily deals with microphones and wireless technologies and accessories for musicians. They asked me whether I would like to review one of their products, and I said yes. The best way for me to share my experience with you, I thought, was to do an unboxing video, show you what's in the box, and let you hear the microphone for yourself. I asked Kema whether they would supply me with the G51 model. I chose this one in particular because of its connectivity to DSLR cameras and mobile cell phones, as this is what complements my workflow in capturing audio, which we'll talk about in a minute. Here's the box, nice and simple. It's literally the receiver there and the transmitter. Nothing else, no features, which is a bit strange, so make sure if you are ordering one, you do select the right one, as you're not going to be able to get a second chance in reading the box. I'm going to sound like a grand now narrating her wedding video. Here I am, cutting the cellophane with some wire cutters because I don't have a knife or scissors. Let's take that cellophane off. Off it goes. I know what some of you are like. There we go. Cellophane off. Okie doke. Alright, and there's a slight rattle in the box there, giving it a little bit of a rattle. We'll open that up and figure out if that's some damage. It's a nice sturdy box. I can appreciate a good cardboard box every now and again. And inside we have a carry case. And the box is empty, so it's just your carry case. We'll leave that over there. And really, I do like a good manual. I like to know what I'm in for and to get the most out of my product. So I'll have a look at that later on. Here's the carry case. Nice and sturdy, very good for putting in your bag, as you can imagine, rather than having a mess of cables. And he's excited. Yes, he's got loads of accessories here. The first accessory to come out of the carry case is the mobile phone receiver cable. If you primarily record directly to your phone, this is the cable you'll need. And you can see it has the 3 rings, only for mobiles, and then it's labelled phone, so you can tell them apart. It felt like the cable was a little bit short. It's about 25 centimeters end to end, but if you have your receiver and your mobile phone in the same location, you won't really need to stretch it. But just for reference, it's about 20 centimeters long. The ends of the cables come with these little protective covers. I mean, they're great for protecting the connections. Terrible for the environment. What a waste of plastic. Greta Thunberg will not be happy. This here is the connection cable I was most interested in. Your 3.5 to 3.5 mini jack. This is what I'm plugged into right now. It's plugged directly into my DSLR camera, straight into the receiver, and they're located together. Again, the cable is pretty short, 20 centimeters to 25 centimeters, but as the receiver and the camera are in the same place, I don't really need to stretch them. The ends of the connections are at right angles. I think this is really overlooked across every device. Having a right angled cable or connection, make sure that the cable isn't pulled out by accident or bent out of shape. It's firmly in place. Like I said, it's firmly overlooked, and happy to have it on this cable. The materials used are also quite firm. I don't feel like there's a lot of give or flexibility. So again, nice solid connection, which is what you want to see. What else do we have here? Let's save that for a moment. And in here is... it's a windshield, a pop shield, or a dead cat, as some people like to call it. Sorry, animal lovers. I know my dog's ears pricked up. This is a windshield. I'll show you in a moment how it applies to the microphone. And next to that is a spare cap for the lavalier microphone. Again, I'll show you in a moment. Just nice to have spares and applications for the microphone. Next up, we have a little white pouch here. Also included with this bundle is an external lavalier microphone, which is great that Kema included this. Not only do you have the built-in transmitter microphone, you have an external lavalier which you can clip onto discreetly, there's the cap there, and use it as if you were on television, and making the whole thing much more compact and secure and close to your body. Putting the cap back on there. It's very light, it comes off quite easily. As a standard 3.5mm jack, it should be compatible with most devices if they have a dedicated recording inline. I did try to measure the cable and have the dog hold on to one end while I measure it, but he wasn't playing ball. It measures roughly 90 centimeters, just under 1 meter, something like that. So it will cover the length of your torso if you plug it in from your collar to your waistband. There we go, cap back on, sorted. The next cable here is a charging cable. This is quite unique. It has two ends, so you can charge both the receiver and the transmitter at the same time from one USB slot. Very handy, very cool, and that measures about 40 to 50 centimeters in length. Onto the main event. Here's the carry case with space for all your knickknacks. Pretty cool. And then in the middle here is space for another transmitter, I believe. But in this case, I've only got the one receiver and the one transmitter. Let's take a look at the receiver. There it is. The receiver, it's roughly 5 centimeters tall by about 3.5 centimeters in width. Here's your charging port. That's where you plug in the charger. Then you have a monitoring output, so you can plug in headphones. We'll talk about that in a moment. And that's your direct out to your recording device. And then some LEDs. One shows whether you're connected to the transmitter and one shows the battery. We're plugging into the output. That sounds weird. This is for the mobile phone. That'll plug into your mobile. But what we're interested in is the 3.5 to 3.5. That goes into the output. And then that goes into your recorder, in this case my DSLR camera. Here is the transmitter, and the transmitter is about 4 centimeters tall by about 3.5 centimeters wide. Looking from the top down, this here in the middle is the built-in microphone. This is what the device will use by default. On the right there is the input for the lavalier, which we'll come to in a second. And then just like the receiver, you have the battery LED followed by the link LED. Now I'm affixing the dead cat. The dead cat goes straight on top of the microphone. There's a little clip there, it's hard to tell. And it's such a soft dead cat. Dead cats are wonderful, so that'll stay on there and that will absorb some of the wind and some of the noise and ruffling to get you a clearer signal. You have a clip there to clip it onto your lapel, very useful. And then you can just take that off. And here's the lavalier again. The lavalier will go directly into the input. You can affix that onto your collar. And again, a belt clip there, so this time you'll put that on your waistband and have the lavalier connected onto your collar. Turning it on, the blue light's there, and that's linked up with the receiver. And here's a brief overlay of what the receiver looks like when it's powered on. You can see there's some signal there. Looking at the receiver, on the top left there is the display for the transmission battery signal, which is really helpful. It tells you how much battery is on the transmitter. And then on the right is the receiver battery meter, which is what we're looking at. In the middle here is your microphone signal meter, and it tells you how hot the microphone is running. On the bottom right is the wireless signal strength between the transmitter and the receiver. Obviously, if the transmitter goes out of range, this meter will go down and you won't get a signal. The bottom left is the monitor headphone output volume. Both devices are fitted with volume sliders and a mute button. Really, you'd want to set the transmitter, the one on the left there, to maximum volume so that the receiver can capture the maximum signal strength. The volume slider on the receiver is only relative to the output volume, so you can turn it down to 0 if you like, and the monitor won't hear anything, but if you turn down the volume on the transmitter, like I'm doing in the picture there, the signal becomes much weaker and you won't get as much audio. Consider it like a gain knob, but really I wouldn't touch these as a gain knob. You want to make sure that that's more in camera. I would run everything full to make sure you get the full signal strength. Before I go, I think it's very important I do one more microphone test to make sure the microphone has been tested fairly. To do so, I'm going to be testing the built-in microphone and reading a very short blurb from Tony Iommi's autobiography. Tony Iommi is the true father of heavy metal, a continuously creative genius, riffmeister, and one of the world's great human beings, Brian May. And now the same passage again, but with the dead cat. Tony Iommi is the true father of heavy metal, a continuously creative genius, riffmeister, and one of the world's great human beings, Brian May. And now the built-in lapel mic. Tony Iommi is the true father of heavy metal, a continuously creative genius, riffmeister, and one of the world's great human beings, Brian May. After reviewing the footage, I realised there is a noticeable audio hum running through the video. And after some testing, I really think this is down to user error. See, I run my camera through a main supply, not a rechargeable battery. And usually when you have two sources of electrical current together, there's some sort of interference, and I really think that's down to user error, like I said. To give the microphone the benefit of the doubt, I want to share with you the audio signal through my mobile phone. And with that, here is the noise swap of the clip-on audio microphone. And now the noise floor for the lavalier microphone. I hope you agree that's a bit more of a fair representation of these microphones than my video would make it out to be. Many thanks to KimaFun for supporting the channel and allowing me to review their G51. I hope this video was useful for you guys at home, and with that, I'll see you next time.